everything that I was doing with my clients and myself up to that point was literally focusing on what is wrong with me, why is it wrong with me, and what can I do to fix it? And what I realized is that when we focus on the things that are wrong with us, all we're doing is re-energizing the brokenness. Meanwhile, the version of us that is already healed, that is successful, already exists.
Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up.
Hey, friends, welcome back to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme, and I could not wait to get on this show today and tell you guys all about something that has massively shifted in my life and in the way that I'm serving my clients. You see, I received a download a couple months ago, and I had allowed life and the minutia of all the things that I was doing on my to-do list to keep me from actually applying the things that had come into my consciousness. And I cannot wait to share with you guys the shifts that has happened and what kind of led to that. But first, I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek on what this is all about. You see, I think that a really big aha moment that I had a couple months ago was that I had been on this journey in personal development and coaching for years and years and years, where I was trying to figure out why I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do, and why my clients were telling me over and over again, hey, LaChelle, I want to do this. I want to make this decision. I feel like I crumble under pressure and I overthink and I do all these things. And I wanted to figure out, why are we not doing what we said we wanted to do? What is keeping us from being able to show up in that way? And what is the root cause of all of that? And so it led me down lots of different modalities in order to understand our brain, understand our nervous system, understand safety, understand regulation, understand subconscious, and understand all of these things, right? And yes, I have all of this knowledge and all of these modalities that I've been using for years, but everything, you guys, everything has shifted. Because the thing is that what I realize is that everything that I was doing with my clients and myself up to that point was literally focusing on what is wrong with me, why is it wrong with me, and what can I do to fix it? And what I realized several months ago when I had this like out of the blue thought that I now finally have got a chance to pursue is that when we focus on the things that are wrong with us, when we focus on fixing ourselves and understanding what the root causes of why we're broken, all we're doing is re-energizing the brokenness. We're re-energizing the things that we have to fix. Meanwhile, the version of us that is already healed, the version of us that has already figured it out, the version of us that is successful already exists. And rather than focusing on the things that are broken, I'm choosing to focus on the part of me, the version of me that is already has it figured out, that is already successful, that is already doing the damn things, that is already being exhilarated by the new challenges instead of crumbling underneath them. And I recognize that where our attention goes, our energy flows, right? And I got to just say that it inspired me when I had these thoughts, but you guys, like, I didn't do anything with it. And this is where I want to at least honor the law of divine timing and recognizing that everything happens exactly the way that it's supposed to, as long as we lean into these nudges. And I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about the new modalities, the shift that I have within myself and the clients that I'm serving. But also, because we're a family here inside the Spiral Up podcast, I want to kind of share with you a little bit of the behind the scenes at what finally led me to follow this prompting on my heart and to really take this to the next level. Because man, like once I made that decision, the momentum has been insane. So a little backstory, I definitely have recognized over the last couple of years, really, that I am more of a thought leader, that I love to elicit big change from a one-to-many approach. And while I love meeting with clients one-on-one, what I love even more is to meet with one to many and feeling the energy is shifting in a group of people. And so that's one of the things that have led me down the way in which I serve clients. I do have a select few that I choose to work with each year. So I only allow basically 5 people to have access to my calendar one-on-one, and everything else that I do is from a one-to-many approach. And I recognized that there were lots of things that I wanted to do in that space, write more books and speak on bigger stages and all the things, but there was something inside of me that still struggled with knowing what my message was. As a thought leader, what was I thinking that was so different than everybody else? And that is exactly what I'm going to be talking about today, and what I've already alluded to a little bit. You see, all of these little breadcrumbs have been piling up in the background over the last couple of years. And a couple of months ago, again, I had just like this realization, like I've been energizing the brokenness rather than energizing the solution. And I knew that there was this really cool, I don't know, mixture of all the things that I've done and all the things that I've learned that can offer a very fast, very sustainable shift in people. But honestly, like I wasn't doing anything with it. I was so busy with my day to day, getting all the things on my to do list, running my company, doing the things that I had already obligated myself to, that I never gave myself any space to actually explore this. Even though I knew what I wanted to do and I wanted to test the theory and how to test the theory, it's like I kept pushing it off. So then what happened to me is in March, I had the opportunity to do a ton of travel. So I was given the opportunity to go to Tulum, Mexico for a week, spend some time with some anesthesia colleagues, re-engaging myself into the medical part of my brain. And we did so in this beautiful villa in Tulum. And while we had the opportunity to learn and to share anesthesia knowledge, we also had the opportunity to be massively spoiled. As somebody who puts on luxury retreats, it was actually really nice for me to be the recipient of somebody spoiling me for a change. And that was phenomenal. Like, they did an amazing job. We spent some time with the locals visiting cenotes, both cave cenotes and open air cenotes. And we did this beautiful, what's the word I'm looking for? Float down this natural lazy river that was absolutely stunning, like just bucket list thing that I didn't even know was on my bucket list, right? We spent the day at this luxury beachfront resort, and I had this amazing massage, and it was just like the caliber of conversations and rest and everything was exactly what I needed. And then from there, I hopped on a plane and went from Mexico to Fort Lauderdale, where I got on a cruise ship to essentially celebrate some accomplishments that I had. So one of the companies that I have chosen to partner with is the developer of a program that I use myself, my family, and all my clients in order to shift our subconscious and shift our nervous system and to reprogram our brain and our nervous system very quickly using frequency. It's a phenomenal program. And because I believe in it so much, it's very natural for me to share it with clients and people I work with. And therefore, the company essentially chose me, and I think it was like 9 other people, to join them with the founder and the CEO on a cruise. We went to, let's see, the Bahamas, Dominican Republic, and Turks and Caicos on that one. It was amazing. Spent a lot of time resting, relaxing. I had the opportunity to invite a dear friend of mine to join me, and we had amazing conversations, breakthrough conversations. You probably perhaps watched the episode where I had a conversation with Noelle Custis about her experience on the cruise and the breakthrough that she had. And it was just life-giving for me to have these really great conversations and help her shift some things. And meanwhile, I'm telling her that, yeah, I have this identity theory that I haven't had a chance to test yet, and just kind of looming out there, right? So anyway, go on the 7-day cruise, get back to Fort Lauderdale, hop on a train to meet my family in Orlando. And then we went on a cruise for spring break. That was phenomenal. We did Bahamas, St. Martin, St. Thomas on that one. Tons and tons of relaxation, tons of amazing family time. And also had a chance to go with a dear friend of mine, Elsa. And again, we had some really great breakthrough conversations. She had some amazing shifts in her identity, just in natural conversations that we had. And it really lit me up. It was like, here I am on these trips and getting restored and rest and all the things. And it felt so good to give myself the space to kind of fill me up again, and to really allow for some things to come into clarity. So here I am, like at the end of 3 solid weeks, and I'm on the plane and I got upgraded to a nicer seat and I'm sitting there all by myself. And I was like, gosh, when I get home, what am I excited to do? And what am I not excited to do? And I had to really allow myself the permission to think about this. Like, I've built this beautiful company. I've been planning to be gone for as long as I was, and I had this excellent execution of my team to run the company while I was gone. My team of coaches did a phenomenal job. My client experience director and my admin, Jamie, held everything together beautifully. And they proved to me that it's possible for things to thrive, not just survive, but thrive with me being gone. So it opened up the space for me to really allow myself to look at, what do I want my company to feel like when I get home, right? What am I excited about? What am I not? And I realized that there were a lot of things that I had committed to on my calendar that didn't light me up, that they definitely were more of a obligation and not necessarily something that felt aligned. And I teach this stuff. I mean, my flow state money method is all about asking divine guidance on what I should do, what I should focus on, and then do it. And I recognize that some of the things that I was doing weren't manifesting the results that I had expected. And when I got really clear with myself, it was because I didn't actually want to do them. It was literally out of obligation. And I had to recognize that I was filling my calendar with distractions. I was filling my calendar with things that were bringing me into a lower frequency. I was filling my calendar with things that I felt like I should do and not that I actually wanted to do. Now, don't get me wrong, and we can have other conversations about this on the show, that I'm not saying that I expect to just sit on the beach for the next, 5 years and everything fall into place. That there are things that I have to be responsible for, that success requires an equal part of masculine feminine energy, meaning that the masculine is the doing, it's the following through, it's the taking aligned action, whereas the feminine is allowing the creative downloads and the culmination of flow to come in. And when they come together in this beautiful synchronicity, everything else starts to fall into place. And so there are things that you have to do to make things happen. But what I was recognizing is that I was shitting on myself a lot. And I was adding a lot of things that felt like they were the things that I was supposed to do, not the things that felt like they were the most aligned. So here I am on the plane. I'm essentially coaching myself, and I'm like, okay, what do you want to do and what don't you want to do? And I decided in that moment that I literally erased several self-imposed obligations on my calendar. And I was like, this doesn't feel aligned. I'm not doing it. And that let me have this beautiful release of pressure so that I could be even more receptive of what was trying to come into my life, right? And so that was the first thing, is I got rid of distraction and I got rid of things that were taking me away from where I needed to be and taking me to a lower vibration. As soon as I did that, I asked myself the next question. LaChelle, if you could do anything tomorrow, what would you do? Because here it was Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow's Monday. I've been gone for 3 weeks, almost 4. And it's time to hit the ball, hit the court running again. And so I'm like, what would I do tomorrow if I could do anything? And the answer came to me so freaking fast, so easy. It was like, I would do my identity work. Like, I would start testing that theory, that download that I had weeks ago or months ago. And I knew exactly what I needed to do. So I got home Monday morning. I woke up and I messaged one of my coaches on my team. And then I said, Sarah, I would like to test this theory. Would you be willing to be my guinea pig? And she's like, absolutely. So we made plans for 1:30 that day to meet up on Zoom. I got to tell you guys that I started getting a little distracted and meetings that I had went a little long. And all of a sudden, a couple of hours to get ready for this meeting turned into like 30 minutes to get ready for this meeting. And I could have said, never mind, let's just not do it. But I'm like, no, I committed to this. This feels good. I'm ready. So sit down, LaChelle, and figure out how you want this to go. The thing is that had been slowing me down is that I made this process that I wanted to use for this identity shift so complicated, but really it wasn't. And when I sat down and I actually put pen to paper and I allowed consciousness to stream through me, it didn't take me hours to come up with my methodology. It did not take me the 30 minutes that I had. It took me 5 minutes, you guys. 5 minutes, and all of the steps were written down exactly the way that I knew that they were going to work, and had taken into account all of these modalities that I had learned and used, and also knowing from experience and just literally what was downloaded. The theory was, again, that rather than focusing on what I need to be fixed, I'm focusing on who I need to be and allowing that part to be energized. And I had been doing lots and lots of different work up until that point that had given me the skill set, the insight, all these things that as I sat down again, it was like 5 minutes and I mapped out the outline of exactly how the session was going to go. So I got on Zoom with Sarah and I literally just tested this theory that I had spent 5 minutes writing down the steps, but you know as well as I do that all of that had been percolating inside of me, and that the conversations that I had on the cruises had allowed for the development of this, and the downloads that I had and the divine timing of all the things had led me to this place that it was easy because all of the pieces had come together. And so we met on Zoom and I took her through my process. And you guys, she had an amazing identity shift, and to the point where she's still talking about this like a month and a half later on literally how it shifted everything for her, and the way in which she's operating from a business perspective, but also like interrelationally with her partner and with her kids and people that she has had some resistance in their relationship. Like everything has shifted from one session. So then the next day, I open it up to my 2 other coaches that are on my team. I'm like, hey guys, I want to test this theory. I want to make sure this isn't a fluke. Same thing happened with them. Like amazing results very, very quickly. In less than an hour, literally was able to shift who they were and how they were operating. Now, let me give you a little bit of insight, I guess, into what happens during one of these identity recalibrations. So what I do is I help them to identify who they want to be. Now, I'm going to pause here for a second because it is who we be that impacts what we do, that will impact what we have. And oftentimes people want their successes to be driven by what they have and the results that they have. And that is actually what's going to cause you the most resistance and the most despair, I guess is the best way for me to say that, because sometimes there is a lag in the recalibration and the things that we see manifesting, there's a delay and we don't see the results right away. So then what do? We start to second guess ourselves. We start to talk negative self-talk go through our minds, all of these things. And it becomes this very unstable perspective. But what I do in these sessions is actually recalibrate you at the source code. What does that mean? The identity of who I believe I am and what I believe I am is what is going to influence the thoughts that I have, the thoughts that are running on autopilot. They're going to influence the feelings that I have that are a result of those thoughts, right? And the nervous system reactivation that I have, because our body is literally our subconscious. Like, I'm just going to say that our subconscious is not in your brain, friends. Your subconscious is mostly in your body, in your nervous system. And that more information goes back from your body to your brain than your brain to your body. And so your nervous system inside of your entire body is what is going to essentially be the frequency calibrator for the results that you get. And so if you have the identity of somebody that life is hard and that you don't have what it takes and you're just this, your thoughts are going to reflect that. Your feelings are going to reflect that. Your nervous system is going to reflect that. The beliefs that you have about the world and how you fit in the world are going to reflect that. The way in which you behave and the things that you see manifested in the material world are going to reflect that. And the results are going to reflect that. Now, what happens over and over again is that people are maybe not seeing the results that they want to see right away. And so then they start to second guess themselves and they start to have thoughts that are sabotaging. And then they have feelings that are in alignment with that. And then they believe that the world is hard, or they believe that they don't have what it takes. And that impacts the way in which they behave. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But manifestation has a beautiful divine timing, and that things oftentimes will have this divine delay. Because think about it, if I wanted to manifest an elephant outside of my window right now and it happened immediately, like that would be chaos. Like nobody needs an elephant running around in the Minnesota country neighborhood, right? There is a reason there's a delay in manifestation. And so when you recognize this, if you're constantly allowing your worth and your thoughts and your feelings are following suit with the results or the lack of results, you're having this unstable foundation in which you're operating from. And you're going to go on this roller coaster of emotions, this roller coaster of results, which is partly why you don't have sustainable income, sustainable success, that you buckle under pressure, that you second guess yourself when big decisions have to be made. All of these things happen because there's a self-fulfilling prophecy and an unstable foundation. But what I do in the identity sessions is actually recalibrate you to an identity that will influence the rest of those things down the line and allow for you to be able to stay in that state and that personification of that version of you, even when the results have a lag time. And it allows for you to think thoughts and feel feelings and behave in a way that allows for a positive reinforcement of those results. And you trust yourself so much because of the identity that you know that the results are coming and that you have this beautiful faith in action, and things just start to shift. And I can't wait to do more solo episodes on all of these pieces as we continue to go down these angles, I guess is what I'm going to say. So anyway, what I do is I help you to identify what is the identity that you want to have. What identity do you want to recalibrate to? And then the theory that I had been testing is that there is a version of you inside of you and in the quantum that already is recalibrated to that identity. Okay. So one of the things that I have been doing now for several years is taking people through a process where their consciousness, their higher self, is able to take us to a moment in time, whether that be in this lifetime, whether it be in a past lifetime, whether it be in the lifetime of an ancestor that was passed along down to you. And if you can imagine that if an ancestor can pass down limiting beliefs to you, then why couldn't that ancestor also pass down the confidence genes and the resiliency genes and the success genes and whatever else the case may be? And so it really comes down to identifying those parts within you that have always been there from past lives, from being passed down genetically, as well as reinforcing memories that you have from this lifetime that allow for you to truly accept this identity. And the way that I describe this a lot is this quote that was attributed to Michelangelo, where he said that he saw the angel in the clay and he carved until he set him free, as he was talking to or referring to the statue of David. Now, I believe that all of us have the Statue of David version inside of us that has everything that we need within us, and that it's the patterns of this world, it's the conditioning, it's the subconscious programming, it's the society that has essentially created layers and layers and layers of clay over our true identity. And what we get to do in this one session within less than an hour, shift you to a point where you are literally recalibrated because you remember this version of you that already exists. And we get to allow for that version of you, your Statue of David within you, to come to the surface and to become your new source code. Now, from there, we are able to essentially recalibrate your frequency to that version of you. I anchor it in with some somatic body anchoring, kinesthetic anchoring techniques so that you can literally feel as if you are embodying that version of you, whether it be past life, whether it be, experiencing life through an ancestor or your own lifetime where you remembered this version of you. And we anchor it into this physical form that you have. We allow for you to then acknowledge the decisions and the lens in which you look at the world through. And then I recalibrate that with this really cool timeline, like wormhole into your future self, where we're tying all of those things together. And it was so cool. Like I literally just got off of a session earlier today where a woman was able to take herself back to when she was in a race, a very pivotal race in high school, where she essentially chose to push herself and to win this race that she was predicted to become in second place. And it was almost like in her recalibration, she passed the baton from this really empowered version of herself to her future self, and was able to embody this version of herself that is going to be now the new source code to everything else that she's doing. And then I bring in frequency tools that I have to reprogram your brain and to clear your energy field and to recalibrate yourself into this new identity, this new version, so that you can stay. Now, it's very common for people to have a quantum jump or an identity shift, but it's harder to maintain that, especially when the quantum delay and the things that require us to really stand in that identity and not get shaken. And so what I do is I teach people how to do a daily frequency synchronization to help maintain that calibration, to maintain that frequency so that their new operating code becomes who they are. It's who we be, who we're being, that impacts what we do or how we do it, that impacts what we have. And everything comes down to who we're being. You guys, it has been insane. So I practiced this or tested this theory out on my coaching staff, and then I brought it into my current clients, and then I brought it into a couple of my mentors actually. And everybody has had the most amazing experiences shifting things in a very short period of time that has been maintained over the last month and a half. And I am so excited because I get teary-eyed a little bit. Like the thought leadership, the thing that is going to set everything apart is this. This is different than anything else I've been taught. It's different than focusing constantly on why we're broken, what needs to be fixed, where that came from, blah, 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 blah. There is a version of you that is already healed. There's a version of you that is already successful. There's a version of you that is ready to take you to the next level. And it's literally allowing you to tap into that version of you and to operate from that person from this moment on. And I got to just tell you that this is not like this long drawn out process. It's literally like in one session, I see shifts. And then I allow for all of the things that I had already built. And that's one of the other cool things is when I think about this, I had already built the Spiral Up Success Club, which is my signature program. And it had been running now for the last couple of years. And it was like, oh my gosh, like all of a sudden it made sense that I had already built the container to support people and to help hold them into this new frequency as their body continues to I want to say you've already recalibrated. It's literally allowing ourselves to stay there and be patient while the rest of the world recalibrates around you to your new frequency. And it's like, I already built it. It's already ready to go. So I have somebody coming in for recalibration, and now I have a place for them to be able to be supported while the world recalibrates to their new version of themselves. Like, it's blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind. I'm seeing life-changing results in less than an hour. And I'm seeing people show up for my coaching calls at a different frequency and a different identity. And it's freaking exciting. I have goosebumps when I think about it. We're on to something, friends. And I don't know, like I'm excited. I'm excited to continue to bring you more details around these things. I might have used words that you're not familiar with, quantum jumping and frequency and identity and all these things, but these are things that I have picked up over years, and the download solidified and brought it all together. And here we are. And imagine if everybody was able to recalibrate to a higher frequency, what the collective could do, what the world would be like if we were all vibrating at a higher frequency. This is my life's work. This is my mission. This is the start to everything. And as a 6-2 generator in human design, I've always been curious about that, because I understand that like the third part of your life is when everything starts to like completely take off. All the wisdom that you've accumulated up to this point is like the turning point for everything else. And that's what I'm seeing. So here we go. Let's go. So I have my amazing client experience director open up my calendar for a few identity recalibrations each month. If you are interested in something like that, I want you to go ahead in the show notes and I want you to get yourself on my calendar. And I'm going to tell you right here, right now, that for the right person who is ready for a massive shift, like there is no going back. Like you can't unsee what once you shift. If you are ready for that, you are ready to see a different version of you. You're ready to see different results. You're ready to just be healed without having the trauma to have to go through over and over again. I want you to go ahead and get on my calendar. And the people who are ready will be able to apply that investment to the Spiral Up Success Club container. So there's literally no risk for the right people. So let's do this together, friends. I cannot wait to continue to share with you the miraculous things that I've been seeing. Let's do this. I love you all, and I can't wait to see you next week. Bye, everybody.
So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to im-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, log into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.